Hello everyone, welcome to the Sea Live podcast. My name is Sam. It's so nice to see you all this evening. As always, I've got my trusted friend and podcast sidekick, Mr. Chris Barnes. How you doing, mate?
Hey! How are you, mate?
Do you know what? I'm not going to lie, it's been a tough day.
Why?
Just sweating, just absolutely sweating, just doing videos for the choir, and I've got a nice little piano here, little keyboard, little guitar going on.
That is a beautiful shirt you're wearing there.
Look, I've had salmon actually, funny enough, this true story. I had a salmon and broccoli quiche, and then for my tea, I've just had poached salmon and mashed potato. So I'm going for the salmon look today.
Poached salmon! Fine! Yeah, someone's doing all right in lockdown.
You need to get into Lidl, you know. Lidl's the one.
I tell you what, as well today, because we've got the guest on tonight, and the best thing about before is we did the little, we just had a chat and that before, didn't we? Me and you look like two dropouts from Robinson Crusoe, and now we've all had a little shave because there's a girl on tonight.
You see, you're saying that we had Lindsay on last week, and Lindsay was amazing. But it's so good to see everyone here at the Sea Live podcast. Thank you for joining us. As always, Chris is here. Say hello, Chris, again.
Hello!
And we've got a fantastic guest this evening. We've got a singer-songwriter. She's up and coming. She's from Northern Ireland. She's come over to the UK. And she's doing real well for herself. There's a couple of things that we can't actually discuss on the podcast because it's all NDAs and all secrecy, similar to when I was on X Factor. But, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it is Miss Nat Kelly. Big round of applause.
Hello, hi. Thanks so much for having me on, guys.
Oh, no, listen, it's an absolute privilege and pleasure to have you on. And look, we saw you on Facebook and some of the gigs that we saw you doing, and we thought, you know, we need versatility. And that's one of the things I've written down when I first saw you and saw your videos, is that pretty much you can do any song that you're thrown. Being thrown
very much for that. I really appreciate that. I think as well, that's one thing I do pride myself on, being a little bit different. You know, no disrespect to anybody else in the field, but when you go into a bar, they have certain standards of what kind of songs they want you to play, and just for age groups and stuff. And a lot of people like, you know, their classics, like their Oasis and like Ed Sheeran's and things like that. And I kind of pride myself on playing things that are a little bit different. So my style of music's like acoustic R&B, a little bit hip hop, a little bit rap. So I like to spice things up, put my own little Nat Kelly twist on them, and just be a little bit different, you know.
But I think that's why you stand out, and I think that's why Sam and I why we found you, and because it was so different to what was in the scene at the moment. We were like, oh wow, this is different. And then obviously we met a couple of months ago, didn't we, before any of this rubbish. Mm-hmm. And we had a nice coffee and we were just having a chat. And then obviously we were all doing different things and we've kind of jigged back together. But yeah, so what have you been doing in lockdown? Because it's hard to do musicians at the moment.
It's hard for musicians, it really is. And to be honest, I think it's just about keeping a healthy mindset and a positive mindset, and reminding yourself everyone else is in the same position and it's not just you. But basically over lockdown, I've just been like taking care of myself. I'm sure you know yourselves, you know, when you're gigging flat out, maybe 10 gigs a week, it's hard on your body, and you don't get the rest, and you don't get the vocal rest that you probably need either. So that was one thing that I thought, you know, this is going to be good for me. And then also, like, over lockdown for years, I've not been writing my own music. I stopped it because obviously I was making my money off my covers and going and doing gigs in bars. So it was one thing I was like, right, okay, I have the time now. I can go back and sit and write my own music instead of learning other people's covers for work, you know. So that's one thing that's benefited me big time.
And have you been writing consistently every week, or have you just doing it here, there, and picking ideas up?
I would love to say that I have been, but
I find that I'll write something, and then I'll put it down, and then I'll pick it up again in a week or so with fresh eyes, and then it's completely changed it. That's the one I read, but everyone's different.
And it's different. I think as well, there was one day, and it was just, I had the whole house to myself. My flatmate was out. I wasn't feeling even like the best of myself, and I had a really great phone call with one of my mates, and it just inspired me. And I was like, do you know what? I'm going to go write a song about this. And I swear to God, it took me about 45 minutes. I wrote the song, and it was one of the first songs I'd written in about 5 years, if not more. And I started to really like the sound of it. So I was like, do you know what? This is it. I need to just find someone or something to inspire me in the day, and just go from it and work at it.
I'm inspired by Sam's shirt. I think I might write a song when I finish it.
About the boohoo thing, you know. Oh my goodness.
Wow. I can't go into too much again, but someone I'm gonna link it. Someone that does inspire you is your dog, Nasa. I would assume so.
Oh, big time. My life revolves around that dog. Do you want to come say hi, Nas? He's right here.
Oh, look at him.
Hi.
Oh. But not only that, but the fact that this dog you love to the moon and back because you've named him Nasa.
Quite literally, I have him tattooed in a space helmet. And it's actually Liverpool is in the background here. It's the Liverpool skyline. And I've got NASA in there as well. And NASA's portrait on my hand. So I have a full NASA sleeve, and I swear there are so many people that look at me like I am not wise because I have my dog tattooed all over me, but I love it.
How old is NASA?
He's 2.
Oh wow! So you've really got to town with the tattoos. You've really.
And it's like a little old man as well, doesn't he? He's like a little Benjamin Button.
Oh, what is he? A pug and a
pug and a Shih Tzu. So a pug zoo, or a shit pug, depending on what kind of behaviour he's giving off that day.
I had a shit pug for a while, and that's all he did.
So you've been
so good for the soul.
They are. And you said you've been writing stuff. Anything else you've been up to during lockdown? Any films or programs that you've been watching over lockdown?
Yes. Oh my God. So actually, an independent film company from back home has decided to do a documentary on me.
Oh wow!
Which is really, really exciting. Yeah. So it's a guy called James. I actually used to go to school with him, and he just gave me a call, and he's like, "Listen, I've been having a few ideas." He was asking if I would do a few music videos for him, and I was like, "Absolutely. The next time I'm home, we'll get something sorted." And then he gave me a call about maybe a month ago or so, maybe a little bit more, and he was like, "Listen, I've had a really good idea to do like a short documentary, and just sort of document, your life back at home and your journey from like through school and going to college and university and where you are now and like gigging." And he wanted to do some shots of like being in Anfield and stuff because I play Anfield before the Liverpool games and stuff like that. And with all the stuff we can't talk about, he wants to do some films on that. And
so what is
it's going to be very exciting.
Is he just going to follow you around then and then just
make a little documentary? Yeah, sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah. Could you imagine if you had a documentary, Sam? Jeez Louise.
Well, I had the X Factor cameras follow me around pretty much 24/7. If it wasn't on the the big 4K cameras, it was the little iPhones. And I remember we were doing rehearsals for, I think it was because you work ahead. I think we were like the first week, but we were working on weeks 3 and 4 songs. You always had like 4 or 5 songs, in the bag as you were working. And week 2 was Guilty Pleasures week, and we were thinking of all these different ideas. And one of the ones that was in contention was Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. And funnily enough, the vocal coach knew him and was like, "Oh yeah, I'll just FaceTime him now. He's in Copenhagen." So he did, and we had this FaceTime with Rick Astley, and it was like, what's going on? Like, this is Rick Astley was singing his song. So it's crazy. But I mean, I think it must be quite difficult. It is difficult because you want to be yourself, but also portray yourself in the right way. Yourself
so that people don't see things they don't want to see. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So you can't.
You don't want to say anything that's going to offend anyone or anyone's going to take badly, or
Exactly.
And that's me as well. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm so open. I'm an open book. I say things I shouldn't say sometimes. So, but how did you find that, Sam? When the cameras and stuff were all the time?
He'd have loved every second of it. Look at him. He'd have been walking
Listen,
around.
I've control of this camera. I'm not putting it on me until now. No, it was good. I mean, obviously, because there was about 15, 16 of us. One of the things that they said, you know, when Robbie put us through, he's saying like it's going to be difficult to get everyone's, you know, personality through on the camera, and that's why they only picked 3 or 4, so it was, you know, relatable for people at home, so they could see everyone's, you know, and we are loving and fun, and you know that's what we are. That we're pop, we're cheesy pop, and as much as we all have loves for, you know, musical theatre and pop, R&B, it's you literally are, you know, every different genre of music is a different person. So it was difficult, but I enjoyed it. Like, you just got to take the pros with the cons, and not to say that, you know, it was a con having them film you, but you think for the show being only an hour long, you probably how much time and effort that goes into like 30 seconds. I remember in LA when we did Robbie's house, we like probably shown like 5 minutes worth of footage overall, and I was there for just over a week, and they didn't use half the footage. It was a minute. So you're going to enjoy it. And obviously, where's that going to be available for people to see that documentary?
I don't actually know. I don't know whether he's just going to put it on his website or whether he's going to put it on YouTube or his Facebook page or something. But I know. Sorry, Nat. Hey, it's just me. I know that he wants to enter into some like film competitions and stuff, and things like that. I think that's this is his like main focus. He's been like a photographer and a videographer for a little while, but he wants to do something a little bigger. So I think we're both sort of helping each other out with this one as well, because I've never done this, he's never done it. So
it'd be good if you could push your own music on this, because it would get out there, wouldn't it? You know, good chance for you to promote yourself and your original.
Definitely. I mean, it's all going to benefit me. There's no negative sides to it at all. And even if nothing comes of it, like, how great will that be to look back on when I'm 50, 60 years old and go, oh, this was my journey, and be able to show it to, if I ever have children or nieces or nephews or whatever. That'll be a really nice thing to have.
So where in Ireland again are you from?
I am from the north coast, a wee town called Ballycastle. I was originally born in Belfast City, but I moved to Ballycastle when I was about 4. So I'm technically a culture, as they say. I'm a real country one. I grew up on a farm and stuff in Ballycastle. But there was nothing around, you know, like absolute gorgeous place, beautiful, very, very small town. There was maybe a population of about 5,000 people. But lovely if you were 60 years old and you wanted to retire and go and sit on the beach every day. But when you're a 23-year-old woman who like wants the world at their feet, then it's not the place for you, you know.
yeah, but I can imagine, even though when you go home, you must be inspired by the things around you, because you come and then you're going back home.
Yeah, it is, because it is such a contrast to the city and the countryside and the beach. It is lovely, and it is like a proper break, and you don't appreciate what you had until you left it. So now every time I do go home, I'm like, oh, this place really is beautiful. But then when I get back to Liverpool, I'm like, thank God. You know, even to have like McDonald's and Uber Eats and fucking even just like Uber cars to take you places, and shops that are open past 11 p.m. It's incredible. It's a new world.
But it must be hard, as you say, for someone young who's trying to get into music to actually push themselves out there. That's why you...
Absolutely. I think as well, because of the bars and stuff that are back home in our little towns, they're very much like a little pub that you go and sit with your dad or your uncle or your granddad in. So they're not wanting to hear Nicki Minaj. They're not wanting to hear Kanye West. You know, they want to hear like old Irish tunes. They want to hear traditional Irish tunes. And unfortunately, that's just not my style of music. I can vibe to it. I love it on Paddy's Day, and I appreciate it. It's the music of my country and my culture, but I can't sing it, and I don't enjoy singing it. If you know what I mean.
Wow. So did you? Obviously, when you were home, have you sung the Irish? Have you been like the entertainment at the Irish celebrations over there?
Pardon, say that again. Sorry.
Have you kind of had to do it because you're musical? Have the family made you play these songs and the Irish songs?
No, because I genuinely just refuse. Like when people say to me, go and play like Whiskey in the Jar, I'm like, no, I won't play it. It's not for me. The most Irish I'll go is a little bit of the Cranberries or a little bit of Bewitched.
And the Blue Angel. Hey.
Yeah.
So what made you come over to Liverpool then? You know, you've got this fantastic scenery around you in Northern Ireland. What made you come over to Liverpool then?
I'm really not gonna lie to you here. I'm really gonna tell you the God's honest truth. I went to college after school. I left school at 16 and I just wanted to go and study music and performing arts. And I had no plans to ever go to university or anything. And my tutor in school or in college had said, listen, your predicted grades are pretty good here. You know, what are you going to do with them? I was like, I'm just going to be a musician. And he's like, okay, but why don't you take some steps to actually like get yourself there and get yourself in a good position? He's like, you know, you could go to university. And I was like, sounds good. So I started doing my research and I researched the best party cities in the UK.
Didn't he not?
And the best party city was Liverpool. So, and I was like, you know what? It's close enough. If I ever needed to be home, if anything happened, I could be home in an hour. But it's far enough away where I can live my own life. I don't have anyone going, what are you doing every day? Where are you? I can be free, but close enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good way. It's a good way to be. I'm a home bird. So you're not a home bird much, so are you, Sam?
No, I've traded Liverpool for the Whittle, which is fine, which is great.
You're close enough to get home when you need.
Oh Jesus!
It's 180 in the tunnel, or £2.25, so it's all right. It's far away, but close enough.
There you go. That's what you'd far away enough, but close enough. It's like the perfect medium in it. But then also once I got here, and I realized that Liverpool was incredible for music and all the Beatles history and everything, I was like, wow, I really picked the right city to be here. It was as if I just landed on my feet.
Yeah, it's a very very welcoming city, though. People say.
Oh yeah, it's honestly the most friendly city I've ever been to in my life. It's very similar to Belfast. You know, the Scousers and the Belfast people, they have very similar humour and like the way they would stand and chat to anyone. They would chat to anyone at a bus stop and they would not hesitate to walk into a shop in their pajamas either. You know, that's just the type of people we are. We're real. It's the Scousers and the Irish. Like and we just get on, innit?
Because we had Richard on the other week, Sam, didn't we? And he's from South Africa.
Oh wow.
So massive transition for him, but he's had to learn Scouse humour as he's gigging, and he gets involved with the banter now because he knows what can be acceptably said when you're on stage.
Yeah. Well, to be like, even from me coming from Ireland to over here, it was a massive cultural difference because where I'm from, this is so funny, where I'm from in the countryside, we didn't have traffic lights. Like, we genuinely did not have any traffic lights. We only had one zebra crossing. So
really?
when I first got here, I was just standing waiting at traffic lights. I wasn't pushing the button. And my friends were going, do you know that you actually have to push the button? That like, Jesus, you can't half tell you're from the countryside. I was like, that's it, you know.
I got it now though. Man.
So,
now, yeah.
Go on, Chris.
No, yeah, I was just going to say you obviously your music's versatile and stuff, and we're going to hear something from you in a second. And do you want to tell us what piece it is?
Will we go for the slow one first?
Yeah, should we do the slow one first, Sam?
Let's do it.
Go on. Well, I'm going to do a wee bit of Billie Eilish when the party's over.
Oh, nice.
It's a bit different to the stuff I normally do. It's a little bit slower and stuff, but it's quite high as well. So excuse me if I can't reach these notes. I've not been gigging in a couple of months.
Don't worry. I'm sure me, Sam, and NASA will back you up there.
Well, let's hope so. NASA's the biggest critic, so. Learn to lose, you can't afford to. It's on my shirt to stop you bleeding, but nothing ever stops you leaving. Quiet when I'm coming home and I'm on my own. Like it, like, see it, like it, like that, like it, like that. Like it, to say it, like it, like that, like it, like that. She knows I'm ready. I'll only hurt you if you let me. Call me friend, but keep me closer. And I'll call you when the party's over. And quiet when I'm coming home, I'm on my own. Like it, like, see it, like it, like that, like it, like that. Like it, like, see it, like it, like that, like it, like
that. Hey!
Hey. Love it.
Fantastic. Well done. Well done.
Must have liked it as well.
Yeah, because your style that me and Sam are familiar with, it's so different to that. So it's great to hear something really kind of slow and sort of a little bit more intimate with the
Definitely.
because it's we know what you really
what
do.
I normally do, you know, my sonny fast upbeat and
so slow and just so delicate. On your guitar playing as well, when did you learn guitar? Did you teach yourself or?
I did taught myself. I think I was about 5 years old and I started asking my mum for a guitar and she was like, that's so weird. No one in my family ever played music. And then for my 6th birthday, she got me a guitar and I started teaching myself.
So from 6 years old? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I find teaching guitar around Liverpool, kids normally get it about 9.
Mm-hmm.
You can tinker with it.
To be fair, you're right in saying that. It did take me from I was about 6 till about 9 or 10 till I could sing and play at the same time.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It did take a little while.
It's pure patience, isn't it?
Very much so, and that's why I think that children are so much better off learning when they're young because they have more patience. They have more patience within themselves to try something over and over again. Do you know what's actually what I done my dissertation on in university? Whether people are born with musical abilities or whether it's something that is developed over time and practice.
That's fantastic. Yeah, do you know what? That is a real good dissertation.
Yeah. What do you think the answer is there?
I think there is. All kids, because I do it daily, don't I? And there's kids who learn guitar and are good, but then there's kids who are born to play guitar. So there is, you can see it, and it's probably like the same with you, Sam. There's probably kids who can sing, but then there's kids who who just are natural singers as well.
Yeah, it depends on the person. I think obviously children that are introduced to it from an early young age, you know, they're more likely to, you know, breeze through it and pick it up and become, you know, greedy and above. Yeah, I think you get kids and just people in general that are good at one thing and maybe not so good at the other, or you know, that are multi-talented. Maybe a jack of all trades rather than a master of one. I consider myself one of them.
Well, it's this normally this weekend is the weekend I do a gig with my students. Well, certain students, there's so many, but and we normally do a gig for a charity. It's normally this weekend, and it's sometimes I do it on purpose because it gives kids the chance to get on stage at and we do a massive gig, all the lights, all the full works, and it's just a brilliant. I'm going to post some videos during the week of the last few years, because obviously we can't do a gig this year, so we'll just do like a little highlight week. But you see the development of each year, them getting more confident. But when they come off that stage, they're like shaking when they go on. Everyone is shaking, but you force them and you prep them for it, and then once they come off stage, they're just like, that's the best feeling.
They want to get back on, don't they?
Get back on then. So then they're geared up for the following year. But yeah, you can see the development. Even when we do the school shows, they're just so nervous. But then once they play something, then they're off and they go.
Do you still get nervous?
I don't get nervous. No, I'm not like Sam.
Do you get nervous, Sam?
I do. I get terrible nerves, me. Terrible. Yeah.
I can get a little bit of nerves. I think it's more anticipation. You know, when you're about to start a gig and you're about to turn the music down and turn your music up, yeah. I always go, don't do it. There's always a voice in my head saying, don't do it yet.
There's always a moment though, at a live gig when there's something that you think, all right, we don't get nerves, but we kind of get a little bit of anticipation about, right, here we go.
It's like healthy nerves, isn't it? It's like if you didn't get that, you wouldn't care about it.
Exactly. There's only one point in my life I ever get nervous with music, and Sam knows what that is. It's a bass solo on Sweet Caroline.
You know what? It always is. Always without a fail. You cannot do it. You can't do it, can you?
Something always goes wrong on that moment. Either someone's on the stage next to me, which is just like mental, or someone's doing something which is mental, and it's always that moment when I'm doing that little solo. Oh, I've had nightmares over that, haven't I, Sam?
Nightmares. They're not nightmares. It's actually real. It's real. A little kid coming up to you with a plastic blow-up guitar, whacking it on your head while you're trying to play that solo, and you looked at me and you just went, I can't do it.
You know what? You've probably got a mental thing now where you go, I can't play that solo. So every time it comes up, you're like attracting something in the universe to fuck it up.
The worst thing about it, because Jess, who plays the keys, I could just feel Jess's eye burning a hole in the side of my head, because I know she's just watching me to just mess up. I could just feel Jess. Every time I come, right, here it comes, I could just feel Jess. Just like,
blame it on Jess, man.
Jess,
yeah. Tell her she makes you nervous. It's just Jess, man.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You get that little moment when because it's every crowd's different, and you don't know what's gonna happen because you're on live. Anything can happen. The classic one is McCooley's. Oh my god.
Even like McCooley's and the Irish House as well. They're very similar because they're obviously owned by the same company, but there could be a group of students in there and there could be a group of old men in there, and you know what, you just never know which group is going to take your songs better, because there has been times where I have been in the Irish House and it's been filled with wee old people, and I've gone, right, okay, I'll play my Dolly Partons and my old school stuff, and they've been like and then I've started to play like Nicki Minaj and Kanye West, and they're all like, woo, love it. So I think it just depends really on the people. I've even had an old man, I swear to God, this man must have been about 70. And he came up and he went, do you know how to play Dilemma? And I was like, this couldn't be the same Dilemma that I know. And I was like Nelly and Kelly dilemma, and he started going, oh, like that one. I was like, yes, I know that. Yes, I will play that for you. And I could not believe that a 70-year-old man requested Nelly and Kelly dilemma. It was a great day. It was a really good day.
You've done better than us with in there, because when we played there, a woman fell over the drums.
No.
Was this in Cooley's or was it in the Irish house?
Yeah, this is McCooley's.
McCooley's. They need something on that stage.
They will do now. I think.
Oh goodness! On the amount of time people have fell into me and knocked the whole mic, everything, spilled drinks all over me, and I'm just standing there like, idiots, man, idiots.
But it's all part of the fun, I think.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what the worst thing I think about a venue like that? Because Liverpool's so big and there's so many venues. Is that, oh my god, the loading at McCooley's is horrendous. Like, we're as a band, you see, and you gotta push gear through Concert Square. and you're carrying stuff out, and people go, "You want to hand with that?" And you think, "Oh no."
Yeah. See, it's handy for me because I just bring a guitar and a mic, and that's me.
Yeah, we haven't played. I think we've retired from the Coolies now, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
We'll stay in the Hilton, Sam.
Yeah.
I used to play the Hilton as well.
Stay in the Hilton.
Yeah. The Hilton's good, man. The Hilton last year, but even before the COVID, they had me outside gigging, which was quite cool. Right out in the beer garden, and it's really, really cool, like that L1 where everyone's coming over from the dock. So you get a really good audience. And
the thing about the Hilton is when I rock up in my Lamborghini, Sam.
Oh, where we go?
Wow!
You mean your people carrier?
So I rocked up. So I rocked up in my people carrier and parked it next to a Lamborghini and made out that was my Lamborghini.
As you do.
Do you know what though? So lovely in the Hilton. Like I go in there and they're like, "Hello, Miss Kelly. Would you like a glass of water? Would you like this?" I'm like, "Yes, I will. I'll take that. Thank you." I like being called Miss as well. And then I like when they say, "I'll give that to the lady." I'm like, "Oh, they're calling me a lady. I love
They're
it."
better than us. They normally tell us to get out. So, to be fair, though, we probably look like when we phoned you this afternoon we look all dishevelled and beards and everything.
And less salmon.
Less salmon.
Less salmon. There you go. He's not kidding out.
Right, I'm going to take 2 seconds, Chris, just to mention to the people to go and follow us on our Instagrams, Twitters, and our Facebooks. So please go and follow us. Obviously, you're following us on Facebook. Go and share it with your friends and family. Nat Kelly's just done a fantastic performance there. Unbelievable. We've actually got some comments that I'm going to read out. We've actually got Paul McDonough, who's come in and said, "Love it, beautiful voice." We've got Louise McCauley, beautiful voice, superb. We've got Anne-Marie should I say. Fab Lou, we are so proud of you with loads of love hearts. And yeah, look, you've got a fantastic fan base there. Well, it looks like loads of people. But yeah, I mean, what's the future got in store for Nat Kelly? Where do we see? Obviously, you've got the documentary coming up. You've got the secret thing.
The secret thing coming up, and that should have been coming to light on the 28th of April, but unfortunately, it's been pushed back later in the year. I don't actually know which date it's going to all come out and stuff, but hopefully by the end of the year, and it'll push me that little bit further. I
think so. And
Sam, with you, like once you finished, your X Factor journey and stuff, like how did you feel that it benefited you in your career? Did you feel that you had a lot more opportunities because obviously your name and stuff was out there? Or
I mean, at the time, it's funny, because it's the legal stuff that fascinated me, and you're signing a contract as part of the choir, and obviously I'm my own separate entity as part of the Up All Night band, as the boy band, as myself as a solo artist. And even though I was on the X Factor, legally I wasn't, which is interesting. And you go, okay, so maybe when I was doing X Factor, I thought, that might it could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. For the choir, unbelievable. Like some of the stuff that we've done with Robbie over the last year.
It's amazing as well. I follow the Instagram page and stuff. He's all sound and look great.
We were doing only recordings a couple of days ago, and sending them all to Steph. So I know she's busy doing some editing at the moment. So good luck, Steph. But yeah, so some of the stuff that we've done are unbelievable. You know, like his Christmas album last year being on Robbie Williams' Christmas album, the Christmas present. Doing Hyde Park, which our anniversary for our Hyde Park was last year, a year ago, a couple of days ago, last year, and that was 70,000 people and performing in Hyde Park down in London. And you know, it was just like some of the nights that we've had over the last couple of days where the sun just doesn't want to go down, and it was a perfect night. It was a festival vibe, you know, the dry grass smell and the beer smell, and you know, the sun's just about to set, and there's Robbie doing Angels, and we walk on and we're like, oh my goodness me, what is this? So
goosebumps even listening to that, man. It just sounds incredible. Like that's such an amazing life experience. That's so great. Like honestly.
So in answer to your question, I think yes, it will. And obviously people from further apart will, you know, have seen me and said, come and do this charity gig, come and do this gig. You know, it's word of mouth, funnily enough, as much as social media plays a big part in today's society for, you know, contacting people and doing business. Word of mouth and actually physically meeting people, for me, in my personal experience, is actually, I've been more successful in that regard, especially with Chris. And we always say, Chris, we always go to the meetings and see people face to face. It's so important, isn't it?
You've got to go and meet people like we met you first time. You've got to physically.
It builds as well, doesn't
it? Absolutely, because you can get lost behind a screen, a keyboard and emails and all that. You've got to go and see people and actually physically get yourself out there, because you don't know what will happen, who you meet, what will happen. Like you'll do this new documentary, and it'll open so many doors. I honestly believe that the way for the music now, because we're in a bit of a crazy time, but I think the way now is physically just keep talking to people.
Yeah.
It's going to be talking to people, because it's going to be so much competition for people getting gigs.
100%. That's the thing about crack now. There's going to be so much competition of who's going to get what gigs.
Exactly.
It's going to be the hardest thing, isn't it?
Really interesting to see how the gig system's going to work, because it's we don't know. We're all going into this blind. I think as musicians we've suffered so badly.
Yeah,
we're all self-employed. We're trying to look after ourselves. We're trying to look after our careers.
Yeah,
there's not much you can do when you can't work.
Yeah, I know.
Jigsaws you can do.
That's what I've been doing. I swear to God. Oh my God, I'm so much less women. Like, there's only so much you can do to keep you busy. But I think as well, when you're out gigging every day, you're bettering yourself at your craft. Every gig that you do makes you a better artist, makes you a better performer. Sorry. And I just feel that maybe after this, I'm going to forget how to gig. I just don't know. It's going to take me a wee while to get back into it. You know?
Last week, didn't I? And I said, you said, "Good, you get nervous." I think we'll all be a little bit nervous when we first get it. We haven't gigged for months.
Months. You'll know, like, even if I take a weekend off and go home for the weekend and don't do any gigs and come back, when I go to play again, my fingers be killing me from losing like the calluses on your fingers, you know. So it's going to be a tough one going back, but I can't wait. Honestly, I really can't.
But are you back? Have you got anything coming up?
Well, this is the thing. I got some really good news today that I have a gig on Saturday, and it's in the Baltic Triangle in the Punched Harmonies, like little courtyard thing out there. Yeah. It's facing like the Baltic Market. So I'll be there Saturday from 4 p.m, 3:45-minute set. So I am absolutely delighted. Boys, if you could have seen me earlier when I got that message, I was dancing around this house like something not wise. The dog didn't know what was going on, but he was joining in. He was just so happy that the place was going. So
It's big. It's a big thing to get a gig. I don't think people realise who are not musicians or entertainers like us, to understand how important it is to physically get out and play music, because it's been crazy, and I think to get the first gig will bring the next few.
Hopefully. So anyway, hopefully.
But it'll be interesting to see, and you'll have to let us know how it's set up, what you're going to be doing.
Yeah, I know, because like even as we were saying earlier, like we don't feel comfortable going into bars and restaurants and stuff anymore. So the reason I've took that gig is because it is outside.
Yeah.
And hopefully there will be, you know, a stage and a barrier between me and the audience. But I have heard some mad things that the government has said performances now, the audience aren't allowed to sing along.
Oh yeah, they're not allowed to sing or dance.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so awkward.
Yeah, but we don't talk political on this podcast, but we want to talk.
I
We do want to say something, but we can't. We can't.
But it is mad. It's just really going to change the whole dynamic of a live performance.
Especially me, because I'm one of the best dancers in Liverpool, and it's really going to affect my game. So,
ladies and gentlemen, on that bombshell, we shall call it quits for this evening's podcast. Nat, you're going to do us one more song, is that right?
I am indeed, yeah.
Fantastic. So, as always, folks, make sure that you follow us on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So on Facebook, you're at C Live. Make sure you like, share, and follow Nat Kelly as well. On Twitter, we are at C Live Enter 1, and also on Instagram, we are C Live UK. Nat, before you start, do you want to just give the people your social media so they can go and follow you?
Yes, so it's Nat Kelly Music on Facebook, and on Instagram, it's Nat Kelly, but Kelly is spelled with 3 L's, so it's a little bit confusing. And then Twitter is the exact same as Instagram, Nat Kelly with 3 L's. Fantastic. So get on there.
And we'll put them all in the comment section below so you can get onto that, so it's a direct link. As always, Chris, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you.
Thanks, mate. See you next week with a haircut as well, I think.
So you've got to tune in now if we're going to get a haircut off Chris.
Yeah, see how that pans out. Yeah, literally around the top.
Yes, boy. So really appreciate you having me on today. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, Nat.
Absolute
always
pleasure.
is, always is.
So guys, here's Nat Kelly.
Take me on a trip, I'd love to go someday. Take me to New York, I'd love to see LA. I really want to get you with you. You'll be my American boy. He said, hey sister, thanks for living the night with me. I just met this 5'7" guy who's just my type. Like the way he's speaking, his confidence speaking. Don't like his baggy but I'm like it's underneath. No, I ain't been to MIA. Heard that guy, he never brings the New York daughter away. First I see the West End, show you to my bedroom. I like it, it's American boy. I'm married. Take me on a trip, I'd love to go someday. Take me to New York, I'd love to see LA. I really want to be with you. You'll be my American boy. Killing them in the UK. Everybody gonna say UK. But I can't leave cause most of the press on with me. Still I said me, ooh, down, going at the pool now. Oh, it's at the pool, ow, ain't nothing new now. He crazy, I know what you're thinking. Rapping, I know what you're thinking. Rap singer, chain blinger, I like the next she's who did you blinking. What's your question about this American drama and my shadow? Cause all my clothes design, dress mine like a London road. Before he speak his super bowl, and you thought he was cute people. Look at this people, tell me he wrote. And I know you're not into all that. I heard your lyrics to feel your spirit, but I still talk that ass. Feel a lot of wags, wanna hear it. And I feel like Mike is baddest. I like the pimps and the gladdest, and I know they love it. So to hell with all that rubbish. To be my love, mine. To be my love, would you I love the coast.